Hey there, boys and girls, and welcome to episode 100 of Sonic Boom TV. You probably wonder why I call it Sonic Boom TV. Well, a few years ago, I was taking a lot of photographs of local bands, and I needed to do something with the pictures. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. If I was going to do a book, if I was going to do a magazine, if I was going to do whatever. I didn't know. And so I did do a book. It's a massive book. It's like this thick. And I have a copy of it, but I don't have it with me at the moment to show. But there was a magazine as well. The magazine was online digitally, mostly in color. And then we did produce two copies, or two issues, I should say, made it into print, and that I've got number 4 to show. This was black and white, of course. This was a very expensive thing to do, and I had no money. You know, it was I couldn't get people to buy ads. I couldn't, you know, I couldn't raise the money on my own for the most part. It was kind of tough. So we had a few people donate for this issue, and the first issue sold a few ads and put a little money into myself. Put my friend Melissa, she helped as well, and you know, but we only got 2 out. So as far as printed, I don't even know how many copies. I think there might have been 300 of this one, maybe less than that. I don't know, maybe 100 of the first one. But anyway, so what I was doing is, I started off doing it myself, and I was writing articles and reviews and things like that about local bands. And then I decided I would write CD reviews of local as well as anything I could get my hands on. You know, that was new, not necessarily new, but just things that I was into at the time or whatever. So that, you know, people started wanting to get involved with it or whatever, and I was really hesitant at first, and then I just said, you know what, I'm going to let them try. And so we had a guy wanted to do reviews. He did 1 review. We had people that wanted to write some stories, do articles, and I had a few of those. There was a guy, Hex, a Wyndham. He's a local musician. He did some stuff. Melissa Crory, she did a few things, a few stories. Who else? Now I'm trying to think. Austin Krantz, he did some things. He did some reviews. He did a couple articles and a couple reviews, and couple. Well, maybe just a couple of articles and a couple of reviews. And I think that was it. I think that's all the people that worked on it. Nobody was getting paid, you know, so it was hard to keep a schedule. You know, it came out when it came out, and it's still available on issue.com, I believe. It's ISSUU. It's like a thing where you can read magazines and comics and different things like that online or on your phone or whatever. And it kind of flips through, so it's pretty cool. But there's no money being made off of that either. So anyway, it was called Sonic Boom Magazine. And you know, this is a thick issue. You know, most of the photographs are mine. That's the Death Ed. That guy is in that band. He was also in The Pest and Geographic Tongue. But, you know, I had 2 ads for bands, Professor Fuzz 63 and Tomb of Nick Cage. Check both of those bands out. Then I just made my own little Sonic Boom ad, and then we had it was nicely done when the fonts worked. The fonts, there was issues with the fonts that I probably know how to fix nowadays, that like this one. That font, although it looks like it works right, that is not the font that was supposed to be. Those photographs are not mine. But they were interviews and things like that. That's another one. The font did not work. A couple more ads. Different people. That one worked. This band, unfortunately, is no longer together. But those guys are still doing some stuff. This guy's in a band, and this guy's working on some stuff. I'm not sure about the singer. One of them moved to Texas, I believe. This guy. Very cool. It was cool, though. I mean, it was a good. I tried to put out something decent, you know, that didn't look bad. And I think it came out really well. You know, I wish I could have done them all in print. I may put this all together one day and make a book out of it, and just go for another local band, the Angry 88. They're not together anymore, guys. This guy, Brendan, he's I don't think he's in a band anymore. This guy Mark, he's got a couple bands, I believe. Unfortunately, our friend Tony is no longer with us. He passed away. I don't know any details of what happened. I just know that he's no longer with us. So that was sad. You know, more pictures. And like I said, this is in color online, so the fonts may work there, but I don't think they did. This was actually kind of a long article. Then we've got this is an ad done by a guy that unfortunately turned into a crazy guy. But that band is no longer together. Then this is the story of. This was a good one because they provided us with pictures from their past as well as stuff that I took. I don't believe that's my picture. Yeah, it is. That is my picture. But like these are like pictures from their history. They had me. I scanned in like tons of their stuff that they just had in folders. You know, set list, different things like that. Thought it came out well. I shouldn't have put this picture like that in the middle because it's cutting off too much. But there's a floppy disk that they had. Just scan that, you know. Some of their posters, flyers and stuff. Kind of cool. Classic photo. Getting his mohawk done when they were called the Pest. It's a long story. This guy is the son of the singer guitar player, and he is also he's got his own stuff going on too as well. He puts out his own music and stuff. He plays drums, plays guitar, sings, all kinds of good stuff. Bradley, I don't know what Bradley's last name is. Halprin, I believe. Brad Halprin. More stuff. Some little drawings and stuff that they did. This was mostly about them. This is a big article about them. And then we got back into some more ads that I did manage to get for this episode, because this issue is the one that got the most. You know, that we needed. We got the most ads. And it was the most expensive thing to do. Then I did a bunch of reviews. 2 Minute Cage. It was an advanced release. Nobody could get this. I was one of the very few people that got that. And a band called Keep Flying. They were saw them play with somebody. They're not around here for sure. Then Rutabaga. They sent me their album CD. Death Ed. Bombflower, I think I did both of their albums that they had. I saw them tour with somebody locally, and I got a couple of their CDs. Sharkanoid, that's a local band that I just found on Bandcamp. That's a great pop punk album. Caveraman, I was in touch with some guy from Italy, I believe, or Ireland, one of those one of those places in Europe, and he was sending me some stuff. So we had Cavaraman and Scully Caps. They were a New Orleans band. I got their album off of eBay for like $5. A record. Then we got another Bomb Flower, which is that one. Angry 88 put out a demo. Black Creole, who's in here as well, put out an EP. Mary Bell was somebody I found on Bandcamp, goth rock band. Austin actually did this one as Farseek. I don't know what that one was. I don't remember. Then another Two in the Cage. That was their album, the Pharaoh of New Orleans, and great album. And then that's it. And then on the back, I decided that we needed to put the suicide prevention hotline because we were losing people like Chris Cornell at the time. But I put Ian Curtis, Del Shannon, Kurt Cobain, Jim Ellison, Michael Hutchence, Wendy O. Williams, Chris Cornell. Those people that we lost to suicides. You know, over the years. You know, people that were important to music and everything else. And so that, I think we did 9 or 10 issues I did before I stopped it. And so after I stopped it, I didn't know what to do because I wasn't going to as many shows anymore. Then we got COVID happened and all that stuff, and we just kind of fell out of it. You know, it was nothing there, and there was nothing to talk about really. And so I decided that I was going to do this video thing, and I figured I'd just call it Sonic Boom TV because it's, you know, video. Not that it's TV, but it, you know, I guess you could watch it on your TV if you wanted to. See my silly self on there. But I didn't know how I was going to do this, and at first, because it started, I think, right before or right after COVID started. I'm not sure, but it's somewhere in there. And my intent was to just do this. There wouldn't be any writing that had to be done. Wouldn't be any money involved. We could just do these videos, and I was gonna try to interview bands and stuff like that. And it never happened. And then mostly because the pandemic, and then I lost my job, and I almost stopped doing these videos altogether. It was that much like pressure on me that I was dealing with to even do these videos. And I tried, and it slowed down a while, and you know, I wasn't able to get anything for a while. And then I was kind of trickling in things, and I figured I would just do it about whatever I bought, you know, whenever I could. And that seems to be, you know, pretty good because some people like to watch that kind of stuff. But you know, that's, I don't know. It's like, hey, I got this today. Hey, I got that today. You know, and I'm going to keep doing those kind of videos because I kind of enjoy watching those kind of things when people show what they've bought at the record store, or the, you know, Walmart or wherever. Just because I like to see what other people get, you know, and to me, it's, I'm sorry, I'm itching here. It kind of shows what other people are interested in, and maybe I want to be interested in that too. And as you can see, I got a varied taste. We got 311, Alice in Chains, Professor Fuzz, The Fix, Rancid, The Muffs. I don't know if you can see that one. Albert's Tijuana Brass, Mamas and the Papas, Anti-Flag, Nuclear Assault, U2, and down there is Jimmy Eat World, and then everything else is all kind of stuff. So, you know, I just like to show what I found, you know, and whether I'm not in it for it like being worth a bunch of money, even though I do like to see what things are worth. I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for the music. That's it. That's it. I'm not in it for the sound quality of, you know, I don't buy records because I think they sound better. I buy records because I like the format. I like that they're big. I like that they're interactive. That's what, you know, caused me to get back into it, is because after, you know, for years, all I was doing is buying a CD, putting it in my computer, ripping the files to iTunes or whatever, and that's it. I never use the CD again, and I still don't use the CDs ever again. That's all I do with them. I put them on the iTunes, and then I upload them to the YouTube Music, and if I want to listen to songs on my phone at work or whatever, or with headphones, that's what I do. I don't ever listen to the CD itself anymore. Maybe that'll change at some point. So that's what made me think I wanted to get back into records. This is before records really took off and being popular again. This was a couple years ago. I don't know how many. It's got to be 4 to 5 years ago, but you know, not that many years ago. I know records were back before I started getting back into them. Sorry, I needed to have some water there. And so, you know, I like a little bit of everything. And I like to show a little bit of everything. So, you know, sometimes I get music that, and there's been a lot lately, I'll go looking in the thrift stores for CDs, and I'll see stuff. For $1, I'll buy a lot of different things that I would not buy for a regular price. And so I'll go and I'll just find a stack of CDs that maybe I've never heard of them, or maybe it's a band that I knew back in the day, but I just never liked that much to pay full price for their album. Well, if I find, you know, let's say Grand Funk Railroad, I like them enough. They're okay to me, but they're not anything great. But if I go to the store and I see 5 of their albums for $1 each, I'm going to buy all 5 of them if I don't have them already. Because at that point, they become important enough. You know, they have some sense of rock and roll history with them. You know, bands like that. And I know a lot of people like them. So it's an easy way to start that part of the collection, whether I like it or not. It's only a couple bucks. You know, I'm not going to spend $40 on something like that. You know, I wouldn't do it. But I'll go and, you know, I'll budget myself $20, $30 for, you know, a week or 2 or whatever, and go see what I can find. And sometimes I go to 3 or 4 stores and not find anything. Sometimes I'll go to one store and find a ton of CDs or records too. But generally, I don't buy new CDs anymore. Although I did end up getting this Cranberries CD right here because it was an accident. It was supposed to be vinyl, and it still says vinyl on the Walmart website, but it's an outside seller. It's not Walmart selling it, and there's a lot of complaints that people bought that thinking it was vinyl, and this chair is stuck. And so, anyway, so I don't generally buy CDs new anymore. If I'm going to go buy something, it's going to be a record, unless it's super expensive. Like, for instance, the new Megadeth album. I couldn't pay. It was almost $50 for the record, and the CD was like $12. So I bought the CD. Just had to do it that way. But most stuff, I don't want to spend more than. It used to be $25. Now it's like $35. You know, but after that, it's hard for me to buy anything after that because I don't make that kind of money. You know, and so I try to get what I can as cheap as I can. So that's why I go to Walmart a lot of times. And you know, people can say whatever they want, but if I can get a deal, I can get a deal. And I went today and I bought like 7 albums today for the $15 thing. But that's another video. So anyway. I don't know if I hardly ever say my name on these videos, but my name is Kevin Johnson. Kevin P. Johnson to some, KPJ to others. Whatever you want to call me. I don't care. I don't necessarily have a favorite band. I like a lot of different things, and I told the story in one of the videos where my original favorite band in the world was Def Leppard, and it was kind of weird. Because we had to write something in an English class, and I wrote about Def Leppard being my favorite band, and like this weird kid, who in my mind looks like Napoleon Dynamite. I don't know if he really looked like that, but that's what I picture him as. he decided he was going to make fun of me for liking that, and I don't know who he liked. I just remember he used to have the Black Sabbath Mob Rules shirt and a Y&T shirt. So if he's going to make fun of somebody and he's wearing a Y&T shirt, that's kind of weird. But anyway, but that's not really why. That was the first time I was ever exposed to people like making fun of somebody for liking music. It was weird. That was like 8th grade. But the first time in 8th grade, that's a different story. But it was after that, like music, I started finding out like different things, and I was like, well, wait a minute, how can I think Def Leppard's the best because they play a certain kind of heavy metal music, but then there's these other bands that play like regular rock, and they're not the same kind of thing. Like back then it would have been like maybe REM and U2. And a lot of the new wave bands were out, and there was heavy metal bands. The glam metal was out. I didn't know too much about the thrash stuff at that point, but I knew that there were a lot of different things going on, and I decided that I couldn't have a favorite band overall. I would have favorite bands in a certain genre. And even in that, I can't have one that really dominates because it just depends, Like if you're going to say Def Leppard, Quiet Riot, Motley Crue, and whoever, are in this group. Well, Quiet Riot only has really one great album. But it's a really great album, Metal Health. But Def Leppard has 3 or 4 albums that could be considered really great. Same thing with Motley Crue. So how do you judge which one is better or which one is worse? Who's your favorite? I don't know this in my brain. So my brain doesn't work that way. So I just know that the Motley Crue would be up on the list of glam metal bands. Def Leppard would be up there. And Def Leppard could maybe just swerve around into hard rock, or that new wave of British heavy metal thing, or whatever. And like if you ask me about the new Def Leppard stuff, I would say no way. I don't like that at all. And then as time went on and we got to the 90s, then grunge came along and killed all that. And I always I don't know why they both couldn't exist at the same time. But I always felt like that was needed because there was a lot of like glam metal bands at that time, and they were all kind of being I think being forced by the record companies to do the same kind of thing. They all had that one ballad that was super cheesy and often great, but they all did it and they all had it, and it was like you couldn't find a band that put out an album that was just straight up rocking the whole time. It was they had to have their ballads and this and that, and so it just kind of got almost stagnant. And I know a lot of these bands still exist, and a lot of them kept going. A lot of them stopped at around 91, 92, something like that, and then picked up later. And it's a good thing that they did. But I lost track of a lot of them. So when the 90s came along, the grunge only lasted like 3 years. I mean, really. Even the bands that were grunge, like Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Nirvana, they all changed. They were like grunge for like 1-2 albums, and then after that, they were like not. Like, especially Soundgarden. Soundgarden went like soft. I mean, they just, I don't know what they did, but but what happened, as far as I'm concerned, once Nirvana, Smells Like Teen Spirit took over the world, it opened the doors for everything else. All the alternative rock bands came in, and it was like a different kind of band every week that you could find. And it was like, there was ska music, there was punk music, there was there was just many different things popping up. And some of the bands were heavy, some of them were not. Some of them were kind of funny, Some of them were, you know, depressing as hell. Emo came out eventually. You know, the metal bands, I don't know how this happened, but the metal bands kind of disappeared for a while. All of them, as far as they went underground, I guess. And, you know, a lot of the thrash bands kept going, but what came out of the back end of this when metal kind of reemerged is it was really, really heavy. The vocals were gone. They were just like these, you know, Cookie Monster, I guess, sounding voices, and I didn't get it at that point. Like, so what I would like, what's happening now, I'm not into it because I just don't like not being able to understand what these people are saying. You know, when these songs, it's not the music, because the music is okay. I'm okay with, you know, the heavier music, whatever. But the vocals just kill me. I don't want to hear somebody growling. That's just it. Oops. I almost put this cup over on that table with the computer, and that would have been a mess again. Learned my lesson last time, if you watched that video. So anyway, so I like a lot of different kind of music. You know, there's nothing that, if I went to a record store or anything, there's no time that I could go in there and not find something that I don't have or that is new to me, because I'm into so many different things and I can't get it all, you know. So, you know, I try to follow bands as best I can. You know, like Rancid is that they would be one of my favorite punk bands. That is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. You know, I can kind of put the albums in a category. I just can't say the bands are better than, because you know, can't judge better by different kind of music. But I try to get as much, like, I've got all their albums in one format or another. Other bands like this one, the Muffs, this is the only thing I own by them. As far as a physical album, that's not true. I did find a CD not long ago. But this is like a record store day thing, and it's not the original album of them, but I really like this band. I just haven't come across it enough to be able to pick up things, and a lot of times I don't go out of my way to find things unless I'm really in the mood for something. So, you know, then we've got local type bands like this one right here, Professor Fuzz 63. They're a Texas band, but I'm friends with this guy, the singer and guitar player, and you know, I try to get everything that they put out, and I think I've got all the albums. I've got 3 records and a couple CDs, and I got this tape that he sent me, and you know, stuff like that. But you know, Alice in Chains, I've got all. I don't have all their albums because I kind of stopped following them when Lane Staley died. So you know, it's nothing against them. It's just the way things change, you know. So anyway, long story rambling on here, I guess. But I want this channel to be something that people enjoy. You know, whether it's me showing this or maybe doing interviews or whatever. But, you know, I don't want it to be, you know, people arguing, which I haven't had too much of. You know, people arguing about, oh, you touched your record, or you did this, or you did that. Just enjoy it because of what it is, you know. Everybody that's in this should be in it because they love music, not because they, you know, they want to flip it or something. And so, that being said, I'm wanting to maybe do some more. I could advance things, I guess. You know, I could very well edit these videos much better and add graphics and all that other stuff. It's not beyond anything I can do, because I can do it. I've got software to do it. I just don't want to, because I don't need it. I mean, I'm not trying to find 1 million subscribers or whatever. I'm not doing contests. I'm not, you know, begging for likes and all that other stuff like a lot of people do. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I can't monetize my account because I've got an issue with YouTube and their people that pay for all that stuff, whatever. Happened a long time ago with a website I had, and you know, it involved ads popping up on my screen, and I was checking out what the ads were and accidentally made $10, and they didn't like that, so they basically banned me for life. Even though I explained what was going on, didn't matter. So I got banned, and so every time YouTube, like, if I have a video that's popular or whatever, YouTube will say, "Oh, you should monetize your account, you know, your videos, whatever." And then if you try it, nope, you've been banned for life. You can't do this. And it's just because whoever they used for that kind of thing, the advertising, is the same company that I used for a website, and they won't let me do it. And I broke the button off of this shirt, by the way, earlier. Sorry. That's why I keep playing with it, because I feel weird. But anyway, so that's kind of it for this 100th episode. It wasn't anything too exciting, I know, but I'm always looking for records. I'm always looking for CDs. I'm always looking for music. That's what it is. And I don't get to listen to everything that I get these days. I'm trying to avoid that and start listening to things more. It's just hard when I work now, because I have to. I mean, even though I'm working from home 3 days a week, I have to, like, my stereo's on one side of the room and my computer that I have to work on is on the other. And when people call on the phone, I can't get up and go turn it off. So I don't get to listen to what I want to all the time. And I'm working constantly, like, all day long. So I can't get up and change records or anything like that either. So, you know, that's just that. But anyway, this has been episode 100. If you like this channel, enjoy this channel, let me know. You know, I know a couple people do, a couple people don't. But you know, just, I'm not trying to get, you know, tons of views and likes and subscribers and all that stuff. I mean, I'll take them if I can get them, but it's not what I'm here for. Just here to spread what I like with as little, you know, drama as possible. And you know, Facebook tends to have nothing but that kind of stuff. My dog is trying to get under the table here, and she's knocking things around. And so that is it for this episode. I've got 2 more I got to do tonight. They're not going to be as long as this, I hope. But anyway, thanks for making 100.